People often say any transgender, oh, you are hormone problems. I think people need to grow up.
Does this happen suddenly?
It could be because of the nature itself. This is the most dangerous situation where I do not have anybody on this planet all of a sudden, and I cannot discuss this with anybody. Until 2014, ये लोग जिंदा ही थे नहीं इंडिया में. इनका मतलब है वो इंसान ही नहीं थे. समझ रहे हैं ना? They were not the human beings at all. And for us, we are a woman. Hijra, Kinnar, Jogappa, Armani, dump it there. कपड़े क्यों खोल? Right, so that is where I think they have taken more personally.
Right to privacy is a right to everybody.
हाँ, but सब लोग कपड़े खोल के इंटरनेट पे बैठे हैं.
So policy framework में आपको क्या लगता है, क्या gap है ऐसा?
If we deep dive, there are several topics which they have not considered.
अगर कोई एक crime commit करता है on a transgender and on a say a male or a female,
exactly.
दोनों के punishments में there is a huge gap.
मुझे कोई मारा तो 10 साल, कोई बगल में खड़ा है, उसका ID transgender है, मारने के लिए आपको 2 साल की सजा. We brought the first doctor to India. We trained the first AIMS doctor.
On such issues?
Yes, personal पैसे से.
So this is very alarming.
This is a disaster.
एक ट्रांसजेंडर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी की जरूरत बहुत ज्यादा आपको महसूस हो रही है.
आप इमेजिन कीजिए ना, आप स्पेस में हैं. You are trying to dock with the other station, but you are only carrying 1 or 2 hooks.
Currently, आप डिफेंस के साथ भी you are partnering.
The innovations are coming. The first thing is aero engines are pending.
Operation Sindoor was the best example of how drone actually was used. अगर future India का एक training model अगर आपको design करने को मिले.
Start changing in the software applications firstly. कितने women अभी taxpayer से declare कर रहे हैं?
That is a point of discussion. Problem कहाँ है?
It is not Anita coming out with a political party. Anita's interest to become some minister. No, I am from Sanatana Dharma. I came from a very strong religious background and family, and my distant relative is Dr. Jayalalitha. I am the one who has been the biggest fan of Modi ji. आज मन की बात हो रहा है, उनका भी मन का बात सुनो ना. This is Anita, unfiltered Anita.
Identity. ये किसी सिस्टम का दिया हुआ लेबल नहीं होता. आइडेंटिटी वो होती है जो आप खुद डिफाइन करते हैं, चाहे दुनिया रेडी हो या ना हो. आज की हमारी गेस्ट, इन्होंने सिर्फ अपनी लाइफ रीडिफाइन नहीं की, इन्होंने रूल्स को चैलेंज किया है. 29 इयर्स का ग्लोबल आईटी और इंजीनियरिंग एक्सपीरियंस, जर्मनी से ग्लोबल इंजीनियरिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स तक, एयरबस से स्टार्टअप्स तक, और फिर एक बोल्ड डिसीजन to stand not just for herself but for an entire community, जो सिर्फ पर्सनल नहीं था, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल था. She is not just breaking barriers, she is redesigning the system, and she has multiple patents to her name, from boardrooms to breaking stereotypes with a heavy vehicle license, from technical excellence to leading conversations on inclusion, policy and identity. She is not just breaking barriers again, she is redesigning the system. She represents competence, courage and clarity. और सबसे important, वो uncomfortable questions पूछने से डरती नहीं है. आज हम बात करने जा रहे हैं लेबल से बहुत आगे, पॉलिसीज से आगे और परसेप्शन से भी बहुत आगे. This is not just about her story. This is her strength, ownership and change. Today I would like to welcome Dr. Anita Prasad, a very very renowned personality, जो ना ही सिर्फ ट्रांसजेंडर्स के राइट के बारे में बात करती हैं, लेकिन she also talks about the new India. Let's welcome Dr. Anita Prasad to She Slays, where courage meets conversation. Welcome Dr. Anita. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time. आज आप हमारे स्टूडियो में आए. It's a great honor. Let's start. I would like to start with your journey from Srinivas to Dr. Anita. So please tell us a little more ki who is Dr. Anita?
Dr. Anita was born in 2019.
New birth.
Yes, until now probably Dr. Anita is just 7 years old, if you see this. And the Srinivas was around 48 years until it reached that time. So yeah, Srinivas was the name which was given by my parents. and slowly it was changed to Anita. Reason is the gender dysphoria. There's no other reason. I think we are going to discuss much more in depth in this
Absolutely.
particular
Yes.
podcast. So it's very important for us to know what this whole thing is. Why does this happen? And also many other subjects. When this happens, what is it that I have been doing that Anita is one name that can become much more stronger and stay ahead in the curve. That's what I'm working out. Anita means grace, and
How lovely.
that's the name which I chose. When I encountered the gender dysphoria, when I was told by the doctors, look, listen, you have this issue, then I had to choose a new life, a new name, a new opportunity.
What is gender dysphoria that you just mentioned?
That is basically an incongruence or not accepting your physical attributes or even the way you start living, right? So that is
It's a medical condition.
It's a medical condition. So if you do not address this, then you have the problem of moving into these kind of problems where it directly affects the organs like heart, liver, kidney, lungs. It can choose whatever that it requires.
Okay.
Because each and every person's body anatomy is going to be different, and even the brain patterns would change. So then there is an incongruence between the mind and the body. Then this problem of dysphoria becomes very, very much, and this brings one to a medical condition.
I see.
So this is something what our Indian medicine industry has to understand much more in depth.
Okay.
And that is where I would like to emphasize.
I'm glad. So, journey, you said Srinivas was in Germany.
Yes.
And Anita is in India.
No, Anita was born in Germany,
Born
of
in
course.
Germany.
Yes.
But this journey to India. So, what was this journey all about? A little about Srinivas. What were you into? I believe you were
Srinivas was
highly qualified.
True. Thank you so much. Srinivas was an ordinary kid sitting on Bangalore airport, watching the plane, just like a school kid earlier days. How does the airplane function? Look at the planes landing and taking off. Mumbai planes, Delhi planes. And the old Bangalore, what I'm talking. The old Bangalore never had the compound walls, or anybody could go to the tarmac, near the tarmac, sit and watch those beauty and then enjoy that time. So that is where I'm coming on from. Then that actually inspired me. I was like, okay, one day, what would you like to be when you grow up? The answer was, I'll be a pilot. But my dad wanted me to wear this black coat and go to the courts,
Okay.
which was a different subject altogether. And then there was a war anyway. But anyway, I was also very, very outgoing person, was too much wanting to be on the outdoors, trying to learn from the society, trying to understand and look at people. I was never a book person. I would never get convinced if I see something on a book. Sorry, that was the kind of character. But whatever I dreamt of, later point of time, I could achieve. I did my graduation. I did my MBA in Bangalore University. I also parallelly was studying 24/7 in terms of computer diploma. Many subjects, multimedia applications, or it could be any other subject. So
That's why I said highly qualified.
highly qualified,
Yes,
obviously, the software side, and bought in many, software infrastructure for India. The first times, many first, I can list down many first.
One of them is Airbus, which was
that was done in Germany,
Germany.
though. So I was employed by an engineering house. So they deputed me to Germany, and that's where it actually started. But the beginning days, I used to work for them. I used to be with the employer. And later point of time, myself and my colleague from the same company, we both decided that we're going to quit. We will start our own journey.
Okay.
So that's when my company was born in Germany, 100%, and also it was born in India. We actually wanted to clone our exact employer, what he was trying to do, but we never went and approached any of the customers. Even though we could get it, we could grab, we know how the businesses used to work, our potential. But later point of time, someone called us and said, "Are you going to help us to, better this particular drawing of the Boeing 747?"
Okay.
So then I said, "Okay, how long is this project?" So about a couple of months. Then I went to HAL. I grabbed off, the British Aerospace and HAL has a joint venture company, BAE HAL it's called as. Again, I went back to HAL.
Okay.
I grabbed them and then I requested their help. Can you please send somebody? We would like to win and we'll collaborate to work together to build and bring many more projects. So that's where it actually started. Then when I went and they said, okay, a couple of people can be sent, and they sent a couple of people to Germany. And that was a successful project. Thereafter, the client asked us, okay, next is the Airbus 380 wings. Are you interested to work? And then I need 6 people now. Can you please support immediately? So that's where it all started. And then we never stopped. We kept on going forward, kept on growing globally.
Okay.
America, Canada, all across Europe. Then we are also in cabin interiors, the aircraft structures.
Cabin interiors.
Yes.
Okay.
My dream
you're
was
a pilot, of course.
my dream was left, and then I was trained in Germany again for the pilot license. Then I took that pilot license for me, and then that was a happy moment.
I'm sure it must have been.
Yeah. And
So you've had really a very, I would say, adventurous kind of life.
absolutely.
In your
Very adventurous,
correct.
sort of king life that
Yes.
very few would get it. And I'm sure I'm the first Indian to become a pilot in Germany. That could be the case. Or, I mean, as I said,
So you have a lot of
there are many
firsts to
firsts.
your hat.
First has been there forever.
Wonderful. How nice.
So I've been doing that right from the day one. And again, I went ahead and innovated a plane, which
You
is a
innovated
hybrid.
a plane.
Yes,
Okay.
along with in collaboration with Siemens and BMW.
Okay.
BMW gave us the engine, the diesel engine.
You started with the gender dysphoria,
Yes,
and there was a transition happening.
true.
Which,
That is the life which I went through.
but that must have been a lot. काफी अंदर से आपके changes आए होंगे internally, other than just physical, emotionally.
बहुत
You
ही
must have.
प्रॉब्लम हो गया था.
What was
हाँ,
that journey like? I would
इधर
like
क्या
to know,
होता है
Dr.
कि
Anita.
आई वाज एडमिटेड टू हॉस्पिटल. बार आईसीयू एम्बुलेंस आता है, लेके जाता है. 2019 पे ना. So 2019 onwards I used to be in the hospital every now and then come, and then next day it subsides. उसके बाद फिर कॉल करो और फिर जाओ. So people are fed up and they scanned the whole body, everything, nothing works. They were like fed up. You have something seriously, some issue.
So they could
some
not
problem.
understand कि क्या चल रहा है body
क्या
में.
चल रहा है किसी को मालूम नहीं है. Then they said, okay, ठीक है, 2 साल ऐसे ही चला.
अच्छा.
2 साल continuously, and people are not able to put me on anesthesia mode because my BP is always high. Because Germany has such a practice where general anesthesia cannot be given to anyone who has a high blood pressure. My case was high blood pressure. So you cannot put me on a sleep mode, which is not possible. And they are not ready to operate it on a local anesthesia basis, which people do it in India.
Okay.
Our Indian medicine system operates many activities on local anesthesia, whereas in Germany they don't. They want you to sleep completely. So therefore, there are some treatments which went unattended. They could not figure out. And I had to go through this kind of a condition completely, continuously. And they have been waiting for days and days and months. Nothing is coming down. The blood pressure is constant and it is going up and up and up all the time, playing around. And then they said, okay, let's send you to a psychiatrist.
So you were sent to a psychiatrist.
Yes.
Soon after. Okay.
I think that was the time when the pandemic was also picking up.
Yes, 1920, of course.
2020, 2021. So they said, please go to the psychiatrist. And in Germany, the psychiatrist the appointment you need to get is about a year later. And I cannot survive at that point of time. So I had to really figure out who is available, call up everybody. In every angle, I need to call up, try to connect to some people. Then I got an appointment. ठीक है आप आ जाओ, no problem, somewhere about 80 kilometers away from my own hometown. So I drove, went there, I spent a lot of time, and fortunately that guy is the number 3 in psychodrama. So he could get what the issues
figure out
are.
what's happening.
He spent a lot of time with me, trying to understand what is actually going on, and then he asked me various questions. And he said finally, look, I suspect that this is gender dysphoria, what you're facing with. And I would like you to go ahead and get yourself one more time verified by the endocrinologist once again. And I will request you again, that is another one more year of appointment. So fortunate enough to get a VIP treatment entry. So the gates were opened up, and then they put me on immediately on an emergency basis, even in the endocrine. When they did the functional brain MRI, they could figure out what the hell is wrong with me. The pattern of the brain is different. It has changed.
All right.
The pattern of brain itself is changed. And then the lower body is a male, and your brain is a woman. So there is absolutely incongruence showing up right here. And why does this happen? It's all genetics. And that's when I could understand. They did a DNA analysis. They did many more analytics thereafter. And then they figured out, okay, this is the kind of your hormone status in your body. It has never changed. People often say any transgender, oh, you are hormone problems. That's a wrong thing to say in India. I think people need to grow up. That's where I get also irritated when someone says, oh, this is something to do with your hormones. Hormones has nothing to do with it. Hormone is being controlled DNA. In order for you to stay a male or a female. You just cannot, that's your entire endocrine function of your body.
Yes.
You cannot control that. And you can only take some drugs to change the kind of variants. And that too, before you take the drugs, you need to be evaluated thoroughly, saying that only this many number of milligrams has to be prescribed. And it can be, if it becomes more or less, it can be dangerous for your life. Again, that is also very important.
Does this happen suddenly, Dr. Anita, or are there reasons why this happened? Is there anything you can talk about that?
I'll tell you, the scientific reasons are a few of them. It could be because of the nature itself. The first I encountered 2014 allergies.
The environment around you?
Completely environment. See, if you look at it, even if you look at the Nordic countries, they are the ones who have the highest number of, human beings who are changing from one gender to another gender.
Oh, yes.
Because, and even the colder regions, for example. There is a big problem in humanity itself that we are encountering in this particular phase, that we need to really seriously look into this. And when we are looking into that particular angle, the environment is changing human beings automatically. Yeah. So basically, environment can enter into you in a different fashion. Even, for example, I'm allergic to, it started all from peanut allergy, and then you have walnut allergy, and then other nuts allergy. It started from there, and it goes deep dive, and suddenly you encounter this kind of a situation. You're not deficient with proteins, vitamins, or anything, all minerals, everything is fine, but you're encountering this issue. This is one reason, technically speaking. Scientific reason. Second topic is you have the microplastics. We are eating those wonderful plastic containers, bags, whatever we are buying from the restaurants, whatever we are buying from the supermarkets. Everything is today being directly, that is getting stored into your refrigerators, right?
Yes.
Or it is getting consumed directly. You're just using some wooden spoon or a plastic spoon, whatever and whatnot. You're directly consuming it. So the microplastics are entering into your body. These microplastics can also start to damage your DNA itself.
It's that deep.
Yes. And what happens is, imagine this is your DNA, right? On top of it, this is going to go and sit. It is going to block now the signal of your DNA. And on top of it, the protein grows.
Oh, so over a period
This
of
is the
time, this is
condition.
happening.
This is the condition. See, your XX, XY chromosomes, will come to that later, right? So when you're doing this, this is the issue. When you're blocking this entire thing and you have a different protein coming in, growing, communicating with your brain in a different direction, you're also finished.
I
A
wonder
human
how
being
many
is
people know
finished.
this. I mean, I just wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, how many
This
really
is
know
a
this?
very serious threat and a concern, which I would like to raise it. And I think the authorities need to act on it.
And
Even
how do
the
you think? You
restaurants,
think at
even
the school level this has to start, or where do you suggest
it
that
has to
is
start
like
from the school level. See, unless until the ground level are being informed, even we say that we have something paper bowls and things like this. Those paper bowls are again plastic coated. You have the
Yes.
thin filament of layer. Again, that is carcinogenic. What did you discard firstly? Nothing you discarded. You are just coming out of this.
Very serious
And the
concern.
other subject, most important, I just carried this ticket. I'll just show you. I mean, the bill, the restaurant's bill. I use it like this because I will not touch any of these.
Okay.
I use it like this. You imagine this. This is a thermal printer.
Okay.
BPA, BPS, the thermal printers. This is directly getting into our body straight away and blocking your endocrines.
Good Lord. Okay.
Directly, it is blocking your endocrines.
Such a harmless piece of
Yes,
paper.
and you use it. Now I have touched. I'm not going to touch it once again. Now you use sanitizer. It becomes 100% more effective. 100 times more effective.
You can't get rid of this.
No, you cannot.
Oh my God.
You cannot get rid of it. And it has to pass through your,
System.
yeah.
This is
This is your biggest disaster that we are encountering today. And government or scientists or anybody, including the hotels, imagine, this is a bill. You are giving it to a pani puri guy or a
every
idli
here and
vendor
there we get this
or
bill.
anything,
Yeah.
any of the counters,
Yes.
and we are touching and discussing, and it is directly, okay, I'm keeping it here. Idli, pani puri, everything is being poured onto you. You need to use a nitride glove even to touch this.
No, that's what I was thinking, Dr. Anita, कि साइंस में हम एडवांसमेंट की बहुत बात करते हैं कि बहुत एडवांसमेंट्स हो रहे हैं, but how much is it reaching to the
India
common
is
person?
STEM. Scientific reason which I want to tell you is this is happening even in the mother's womb. For example, अब जब टैबलेट खाते हो तो आपका जो एंडोक्राइन सिस्टम में उसका भी चेंजेस होता है. And even there, the signals with the child when the child is in the mother's womb, the communication goes, for example, XX, 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 मतलब girl, girl,
Chromosomes.
girl, 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 कोडिंग होता रहता है ना फर्स्ट कुछ दिन में. तो वो कोडिंग होता रहा, suddenly it comes XY, 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 and then XX, XX, XX. That girl is a trans man. एंड यू विल नेवर नो. आप लिंग देख के कुछ भी वही बोल सकते हो कि ये मर्द है. दिस इज हाउ इट विल चेंज. This is the kind of pattern that is the scientific reason for it. People don't want to listen to this. When we speak out in the public, people don't want to listen to this, or they are not here to accept the reality that the reality is changing. Moment a child is born in the home today, it's the biggest issue, is that if assuming that there is an intersex child, that happens again with the chromosomal topic. Intersex child, that means दोनों अंग होता है ना, so दोनों genitalia होता है उसका. So the intersex child is either given away to this people, the so-called hijra or kinna
The
or whatever.
community, yes.
So it is just given away. The newborn. Imagine, Amma, you went to the IVF, you took all the pain, you dreamt of having a child, you dreamt of having so many things, and you dreamt of having such a wonderful life with your child, and today you are seeing that intersex and you are giving it away. Or throwing that intersex child out of your home. What is wrong with you? Or even that somebody says, okay, I am not in congruence with the gender itself. Like, I have various reasons, scientifics, which I explained to you. When these things are happening, you will throw your child away, you will throw your husband away, your wife away. Is this a good society that you are creating? They were
What are we
dependent on you.
building?
You are dependent on them. You cannot create this kind
And
of a
something which was
rut.
not in your own
Who has the
control.
control?
It was all that suddenly came into, so the family. What was the support? I mean, did you receive any support from your family,
I
or
was
was
also
it?
thrown out. No
Oh
support.
God.
Everybody started to say no. We don't like it, and you are such a person. You are a go-getter. You can earn any amount of money in a day, and you are such a capable person. We will never want to see you like this.
Mm.
We don't want you to go on to this. And look at those people who are there in traffic lights. And even I got a criticism saying that by looking at you, you will not get 50 rupees.
Okay.
This is the mentality of our people.
So
This
people
we
who have
cannot
actually
change.
been with you all throughout, and suddenly this
True,
change.
true. And I'm so irritated. They say that you would like to wear something and you will like to stand and then 50 रुपए के लिए आप काम करते हो. This is what you are. That means उनको rate भी पता है. ये family होता है.
Hmm.
This is the kind of system that we are in. That is the
तो
issue
आपकी
that I
सबसे
would
बड़ी
like to bring
फाइट
it.
इंटरनल थी या एक्सटर्नल थी, और हाउ डिड यू पास थ्रू इट? आई वांट टू जस्ट डोंट मेक इट वेरी शॉर्ट बिकॉज द मेन डिस्कशंस इज येट टू हैपन एंड आई वांट टू
Sure,
मूव अहेड ऑफ दिस, बट आई जस्ट वांट टू
sure.
अंडरस्टैंड कि इस तरह का चेंज आना लाइफ में जो अनएक्सपेक्टेड है, आप एक ड्रीम लाइफ जी रहे हैं, यू हैव ऑल द पॉसिबल लग्जरीज ऑफ लाइफ, यू हैव अर्नड मनी लाइक वाटर, आपने पेटेंट्स जमा किए हैं अपने नाम पे, यू हैव सो मच टू योर किटी, and you have a happy family, you have a wife, you have a kid, and everything is going great. Suddenly God had different plans and आपके कंट्रोल में नहीं था.
Correct.
What was that internal आपकी जो अंदर का था? I just want to understand, because I want people to understand this because it's very important.
See, rejection happens. Rejection happens. They say like, okay, it's not, I don't like you. I had given away everything, imagine, to the system, to a system which existed for 23 years. And all of a sudden you come back and then say, no, that system doesn't exist anymore. Your wife is not your wife. Your daughter is not your daughter. And that kind of family which used to be there, anything, everything, we could go back to them. Now they are not there.
Suddenly gone.
Suddenly they vanish. This is a shock that one has to go through this. And I had to go through this. And in this time period, they also came. I'm sure, there's many more on TEDx and other videos.
Yes, I
People
heard that.
can
Yes,
go through that.
absolutely. I'll share the links.
Obviously.
Definitely.
But otherwise, what I want to make it very briefly is when these kind of shockers come in, there need to be a shock absorber with us as a defense
true.
mechanism.
How true.
Fear, flight, and fight. There are three important
Yes.
human mechanisms. That's where it gets activated. So in this particular time period, even I was humiliated to a greater extent where I even went to commit suicide, for example.
I know, I heard
The
about
German
it.
Raids were on strike that day. So fortunately, another guy who bought me out of station and then, okay, get
God
away
bless
with it.
him.
So after that, another 6 weeks I spent my time. That's when I figured out these are weaknesses. These are really weaknesses, and that I had to heal my own self. This is the most dangerous situation where I do not have anybody on this planet all of a sudden, and I cannot discuss this with anybody. Outside, there's a pandemic happening. I don't know what is going to happen to my life, but I need to imagine and construct my life now.
Healing process.
In between the four walls, looking at the internet, reading, understanding what am I trying to do, and what am I first of all. Can this Anita, from Srinivas to Anita, can this Anita survive? Can this Anita, take this beating from the society? Can it be ignored for doing good? And can it be a very good resistance that I'm going to build in order to stay focused in terms of only my work?
How true.
And I will not look at anything that is passing by on the street. Can I come with all these things? If so, then am I training my own self? So, आपका Indian Army जो होता है ना training, that had to be done by my own self. without any sort of guidance, without any sort of advices.
एंड ये फाइट सिर्फ एक्सटर्नल नहीं थी, ये इंटरनल ज्यादा थी.
Internal. And I had to become who I was supposed to be, firstly. Then I said, okay, I will go ahead. Now, whoever says whatsoever, I'm not going to be stopping. My commitments are my commitments. I came with the large patriotism. I had met with Modi ji in 2015. There, he had invited us for dinner, the Indian diaspora again in Germany. And there are photographs, of course. I'll share that also with you. But the problem is, he was absolutely new. And we were part of Vishwa Hindu Parishad and that kind of a trail again, coming back. We were Swaminarayan Bab's temple and so on. But suddenly, all of a sudden, when it comes to this particular angle, where I was like, okay, theek hai, abhi, I was about to exchange the Indian, German passport ke liye, Indian passport, and then trade off.
Oh.
Then I said, no, I'm not going to do this now. The first patriotism came to that.
Okay.
So that's why I keep telling people I didn't sell my passport. When I met with him, there was one question being asked, which was very, very provocative in my mind. Dr. Saab, ye batao, why people are coming in to watch Bahubali movie and not for Make in India?
Modi ji asked you that question.
Modi ji asked, and then I even have made a video out of the Hanover Expo. Pura stalls khali pade the. Hanover ka. Hanover is the most happening expo. Pura stalls khali pade the hamara.
A very valid
Coffee
question.
Board of India.
उनका question काफी valid
Coffee
था.
Board of India khali. Tea Board of India khali. अरे कॉफी टी तो ठीक है.
क्या कारण है आपके हिसाब से?
उसका क्या है? Why you don't even want coffee tea? टेक्नोलॉजी तो अंडरस्टैंडेबल है. कॉफी चाय के लिए, कॉफी के लिए भी ना. ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आया. So this made me think, and these kind of things entered when I was sitting in my room.
And Bahubali, by the way, was fiction, and this is reality.
See, I'll tell you,
हम
people.
reality की बात कर रहे
I'll
हैं.
tell you, that's what we are saying. We bring perfection in our movies. We don't bring this kind of a perfection in our own country.
I want to bring you back to another discussion of the transgender bill. अभी recently एक transgender bill आया 2026 जिसमें कुछ changes लाए गए. There was a NALSA judgment जो I think 2019 में और
14
में
was
sorry
in 2014.
Yeah, 14 में था and उसमें कुछ चीज़ें लाई गई थी जो I think आपके I would say favor में भी था and it was not as disturbing as it was now. तो can you please take us through the NALSA judgment and this bill? ऐसा क्या आया change जिससे कि इतना disturb हुआ community हमारा?
I'll give you the chronology.
Okay.
In fact, I would say that to the whole public, you should watch Susmita Sen's wonderful this episode. Episodes or I don't know. This is a trail. It's called as Tali. It's from Geo Movies and it's also on YouTube. Anyone has missed it, please do watch it. You will get to know what it was in the pre-2014 era.
Okay.
Okay. Until 2014 ये लोग जिंदा ही थे नहीं इंडिया में. इनका मतलब है वो इंसान ही नहीं थे.
They were not recognized at all.
They were not the human beings at all.
Before 2014, you're saying, okay?
Yeah. So they had to fight. There were few, and all of them, know me. I know them also. So there were few who fought for them, fought for the humanity to bring this particular, rights to the human beings. Firstly, उनके लिए आधार कार्ड नहीं मिलते थे, बैंक अकाउंट नहीं था. वो जिंदा ही नहीं थे ना इंडिया में. क्या करेक्ट कर सकते हो? क्या मिलेगा? You cannot be hospitalized. Imagine on whose name are you writing? This was the situation. That's where the NALSA judgment came. They said, first of all, you're human beings and we gave you certain rules and regulation and responsibility and recognize them as Indians, firstly. Unko article, all the articles of Indian Constitution, they were included.
They were included, okay.
Yeah? And then they were human beings, equal rights. Very good. Then now move into the 2019. 2019 is where the transgender protection rights started. 2019 is when this entire drama started, where people said that, okay, we are now going to give you the directions how you can become a better human beings, and how government can also protect you, legal systems can protect you, etc., etc. But not to the fullest extent. Yes, to a larger extent it came. Now in 2026, they reversed few things, which is affecting, obviously. This community may be a very bad community, or I'm not sure, because that is the kind of mentality this 2026 bill might have come into effect, into the law, the legal system. Because of this, everybody have the black dots. Everybody carry, irrespective, you are a white collar, no matter what, you are a black collar unconditionally. So here they say that, okay, either you exist as a man or a woman, or you are going into, becoming a transgender. There are only 3 categories that we are open. We are not opening many categories. You are taking your operation, you are going and joining man or woman. Simple. You are not going to be called as trans man or trans woman.
Okay.
There is one change. Now, transgender are those who are, again, coming to the bottom line, religious, non-religious.
Really?
Yes. In India, you should be knowing there are 17 plus religions across the nation. As we travel across the nation from south to north, even in the northeast region, there are various categories. I mean, religions, they exist. They exist for thousands and thousands of years. This, we did not make it. Nobody did this. This exists for thousands and thousands of years, and British had the tough time to even understand them. First the Mughals came, and then the British came. They had an understanding problem. So they had to go through this entire subject. Then they moved into the newer initiative, where they said, okay, this is a transgender. And then they were thrown out of lot many things. And because they were hungry, they had to go for begging or prostitution at this particular point of time, or go to anybody's home, ask them and give the badai or whatever that culture that exists in northern India in a bigger way. But in southern India, that is definitely not an accepted situation.
Yeah,
Not
North
too
में
many
it's
encourages
prevalent
that.
more, yeah.
Not too many encourages that, and that is the situation where this changes the facet of this. So they are a religion. They say Mangal Mukhi. Mangal Mukhi is a community that itself is one, let's say, a religion that comes in from India. Mangal Mukhi are those who are wearing bindi, sari, religious in nature, all those things. And for us, we are a woman, for example. Today's, subject, we are a woman. And those Mangal Mukhis are now taken from those baskets. They said there are too many of them. We understand only 4. Hijra, Kinnar, Jogappa, Arvani. Dump it there. Now the communal issue started. Religious issue started. Hey, we worship Shiva. You are a Vishnu worshipper, so why should I engage with you? You see, the biggest issue started over there. And a lot of communities are also fighting with each other, and they are not in concurrence. And many people are coming in the media, and they're also talking today. And also they're saying that, for example, one such topic is Kinnar Akhada. Kinnar Akhada is this, where this Kumbh Mela happens. Most important topic. For India, the Kumbh Mela and then the Kinnar Akhada. Kinnar Akhada is the 18th Akhada recognized. Now there is also a fight happening. That is also a biggest issue. So that is the...
But how are these impacting, say the entire setup of our country, let's say at a bigger level?
Yeah.
कैसे impact कर रहा है ये जो हम aspect बात कर रहे हैं आपके हिसाब से? How is it impacting our nation as a
See,
whole?
I'll tell you, nation के लिए कैसा impact होता है, I think, those people who are under the driver's seat or with the on the driver's seat, I think they are the better people to say this rather than we communicating on that particular front, because they are the people who are driving that vehicle.
Why I'm asking this is कि एक तो जो ये transgender bill आया इसमें एक ऐसा clause add हुआ कि सेल्फ आइडेंटिफिकेशन पे ही बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन मार्क आ गया दैट पहले यू कुड सेल्फ आइडेंटिफाई योरसेल्फ एज व्हाटएवर यू वांटेड टू बी बट देन सडनली यू हैड टू Prove it.
Self-identification means affidavit.
Yeah.
They had to go to the court.
Like डॉक्टर के पास जाके आपने फिजिकल एग्जामिनेशन
No,
के
it
बाद
was
ऐसा
not
कुछ
also like that. See, earlier process is like this, that they had to go to the court, catch hold of a lawyer, make an affidavit saying that I am not this, I am so and so, name change this to so and so, advertise it in the newspaper, at least 2 of them. And then you had to go to the magistrate again. Still, that process was
Okay.
open. You had to go to the magistrate, get your signature on this, and go to the DC office to get a transgender certificate. This process existed. This was not invented by the government.
Then what changed in this?
I'll tell you. The problem is the medical intervention. They are saying, see,
Exactly, I was trying
for
to say that.
example, many are not even speaking about the scientific topics that I explained here. कपड़े क्यों खोलना है?
Absolutely.
Right? So that is where I think they've taken
Right
more
to
personally.
privacy is a right to everybody.
हाँ, but they are sitting in podcast and saying that कपड़े क्यों खोलना है, but सब लोग कपड़े खोल के इंटरनेट पे बैठे हैं.
Ironical है ये बहुत.
See, that is something which we really do not appreciate it, right? So we call this as voyeurism, right? Voyeurism is you look at somebody and voyeurism. That's
Okay.
what they call it as voyeuristic behavior. That's what we call it as in the psychological terms. And this is something crazy by this whole community. ठीक है, तुम ये करेगा, तुम वो करेगा. But nobody is working to convince or to say or pressurize the government. Why did you do this?
But somewhere has the government not been able to
Okay,
understand
there
or
is a huge hump that you have driven.
Yeah,
Let's say
yeah.
he's a driver, you have jumped and then it has hurt us. All of us are scattered all across the bus, for example. So how will you control what is the reason, real reason? Can you please explain that neither they are doing nor here these people are doing. Real reasons which I could figure out is basically something like the human trafficking issues arising out of this community, which was doing it. Again, as I pointed out, child in our Indian system is being thrown in the public. A child is being thrown and this system absorbs. And a child, for example, if आपका बेटा बेटी जो भी है, so can I come and approach and say that you become like this? Or can I influence by any chance to any of the children? I'm in a criminality, right? Absolutely. So obviously, this is something wrong. That's what government said. This is not in concurrence to them. Number one. Number two is, when you are throwing your children out, this is in thousands happening everyday basis. Not in hundreds, not in tens and ones.
It's very unfortunate.
This is thousands in Indian system. Firstly, the government, if I was in the driver's seat, I would have first taken this step, saying that you have to keep beti bachao, beti padhao, ye bachao, wo padhao. बेटा बेटी जो भी हो, इंसान है, इंसान को पढ़ाओ यार पहले.
मतलब आप कह रहे हैं कि ह्यूमन
आपका
लेवल पे
भारत
कोई
का
नहीं
देश का
देखा.
वासी है.
Got it.
ये आपका फ्यूचर इंडिया है. यू आर थ्रोइंग देम आउट ऑफ द होम. इनके लिए पूजा किया, पाठ किया, क्या नहीं किया आपने. यू आर थ्रोइंग देम अवे. This is something terrible.
तो एक आइडियल ट्रांसजेंडर लॉ आपके हिसाब से कैसा होना चाहिए?
See, first of all, arrest this and first of all say, I'm not going to throw the child out. The way a child or a person throwing the elders out of home has the imprisonment, similar imprisonment, give it to the parents also.
Yes.
Why the discrimination is coming in? This is very important. Number two is when you're stopping this entire thing, you're stopping the major problematic condition for the future India. At least you have taken a step on this, and give them the education, right of education, involved in every step. That is what you should do as a governance. And then you're talking about changing this gender, this and that. Okay, process, procedure. Doctor ke paas jaake kapda kholo. And that is where people got very angry, because this is more to do with genetics and this is nothing to do with your genitalia. Why don't these people understand this first? Who are these doctors who advise this government firstly? That is what the question is going to them.
So policy framework में आपको क्या लगता है, क्या gap है ऐसा? What is the biggest gap that is existing at this moment?
See, they are not in reality. If you ask me, they are definitely not in reality. They are not even considering so many aspects. See, we are just talking the surface level topics. If we deep dive, there are several topics which they have not considered. And इनके लिए punishment का आप ले लीजिएगा. For example, the crime that is done by a transgender, again, the similar penalty like other human being, right? If a crime is done on a transgender, for example, आप घर से बाहर फेंकते हो, जो भी रेप होता है, जो भी कुछ भी होता है, आप एक वुमेन को मारते हो तो 10 साल का है. सी आई हैव अ फीमेल, दैट मीन्स मुझे कोई मारा तो 10 साल. कोई बगल में खड़ा है, उसका आईडी ट्रांसजेंडर है, तो उनका मार खाने के लिए, समथिंग लाइक दिस, मारने के लिए आपको 2 साल की सजा.
तो आप कह रहे हैं कि अगर कोई एक क्राइम कमिट करता है ऑन अ ट्रांसजेंडर एंड ऑन अ say a male or a female,
exactly,
दोनों के पनिशमेंट्स में there is a huge gap.
exactly,
एक को 2 साल की पनिशमेंट मिलती है और एक को 10 साल की पनिशमेंट मिलती है.
exactly. क्या ये वुमेन नहीं है? आप मानते हो ना?
Why are we not rising about
they're
this?
using the women's restroom,
हम
right?
ह्यूमन लेवल पे क्यों नहीं आ रहे हैं? Why is it or a male, female, transgender? Why are we there?
That is where the entire country is in sparkles. That is where the entire country turned around red, because whoever did this, they did not, probably consider so many other aspects on reality, the lived realities. That's what they need to think of. But those experiences and considerations were not made, and they just went ahead and bought certain laws. Even then, people were talking about it. Even we were also vocal, communicating, writing letters, explaining to them, but they were not at all interested, because they have one perception. I am the one who has been the biggest fan of Modi ji and the kind of work that they have been doing, and even Ajit Doval ji, for example, whatever. I mean, there are many people, but we just take the major names and say that. And they have been doing phenomenal. But I can understand, in the interest of the nation and the kind of betterment, there are certain things that has come. But many things have been overlooked. It has happened not only in this transgender bill, it happens in every case.
But अगर आप एक change immediately demand अगर करना चाहते हैं, let's say Modi ji is listening today, तो अगर आप बताइए, अगर आप एक change immediately चाहते हैं कि होना चाहिए, what would that be?
Make them humans. Second thing is, stop getting these children being thrown out of home. First step. आप frisk करना चाहते हैं, कीजिए. You have to frisk people. See, psychiatrist involvement is what you are asking for, the doctor's involvement for these people. Yes, you please go ahead and do it. There is nothing wrong. And you need to consider those as serious cases. Go ahead and do it. My full support to you, because wo to hai. You have to do this, because even I went through the functional brain MRI. Forget about other topics. India mein ek hi jagah hai functional brain MRI. So I had to go through that, and I know what exactly that whole process is. But you may need not have to put all these people into that. But you are following certain guidelines and rules. And WPATH is one. WPATH meaning the World Psychological Association for Transgender Health.
Okay.
Was those people whom we brought them to India. Dr. Sanjay Sharma again, he is from the Indian, veteran army se hai. So he is the person who bought also me and Dr. Sharma. We worked together. We brought the first doctor to India. We trained the first AIMS doctor
on such issues.
Yes, personal पैसे से.
So this is very alarming.
और हमारा इंडियन गवर्नमेंट सो रहते हैं, सडनली वेकअप कर दिया और आपका प्रोसीजर लेके आया, वो भी बिना सोचे पूछे, कुछ भी नहीं करे. एंड ये दिस इज वेयर द होल स्पार्कल्स कम आउट, where there has to be a very clear system defined. You give a timeline, guideline, say this is the timeline when we are starting. A policy in a nation like this, especially you want to become Vikasita Bharat, you want to grow into a larger extent, you want to become the world guru. So these are wonderful things when we stand on Red Fort and then speak. I'm sorry to say this, but when you come on to the reality, you need to come on to the policy level subjects and get into the policy level actions, activities, and then try to address these subjects. When the policies fail, your administrators fail in terms of the knowledge, and you don't have time to listen to anything because you are driving the country, this is a disaster.
बट आई रिमेंबर वॉचिंग वन ऑफ अर्लियर वीडियोज ऑफ योर्स. आपने जहाँ पे एक तरह से एक अनाउंसमेंट ही किया था कि एक ट्रांसजेंडर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी की ज़रूरत बहुत ज़्यादा आपको महसूस हो रही है कि शायद उनकी जो टू कीप देयर स्टैंड
Sure.
बिकॉज नोबडी इज अंडरस्टैंडिंग यू वांट टू हैव योर ओन थिंग. आप क्या ऑडियंस को, मुझको इसके बारे में कुछ और, कैन यू थ्रो सम लाइट ऑन दिस? व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज दिस थॉट?
I will definitely thank you so much for bringing this because I was so agitated not only with this. I have been seeing अरे यार आप इमेजिन कीजिए ना आप स्पेस में हैं यू आर इन स्पेस योर स्पेस स्टेशन इज रोमिंग अराउंड एट सो एंड सो स्पीड. I'm just explaining because people only understand space these days. So you have traveled from Earth. You are trying to dock with the other station, but you are only carrying one or two hooks. You are leaving all other hooks open. You cannot go in on to that other space station at all. This is your condition. Today's, I mean, being very honest, whoever listens to this podcast, let them listen. Whatever they want to brand me, because this is Anita, unfiltered Anita. That's what I've been known for. I will not hide because I want our अपनों के लिए कुछ करना है. That is very simple. And I have no other intentions and motto. If at all I wanted to join some other party, political party, etc., I would have been doing this long ago. Even I got the Rajya Sabha MP offer also. Couple of people we were discussing, I didn't go, I didn't join. That is
But
a
wouldn't
different
that
subject.
helped you bring out the voice of your
Could
community
have,
then?
or probably I would have become a scapegoat also because I don't know. Because I'll come back to you on that particular topic. But the reason is today, I have seen the flaws. Too many flaws because a very well-read person, global exposure like me, and having the kind of connectivity with the people, doing the social upliftment projects in the economy. Because moment I go out of the kind of Red Fort area or the room, wherever I am in, these jargons doesn't matter. Moment I face the public, tu pagal hai kya? That's what they will say. Right or wrong? Please tell me. So I cannot go with that. And if I have
any
a
new
dream,
idea is never invited actually.
exactly. So if I have a dream, if I want to do some things, I need to implement it in a systematic manner. I need to do it in a right direction. This is very important for us. And for doing this, I think there are several attempts, several topics we have been seeing. Now, this is the third 3.0 term that we have been seeing. And before that, we have seen even the Congress government where we left India.
Okay.
Right? So we left India because the system itself was not there. And we wanted to, anybody you speak about it, earlier days, why did we all go and settle down in Canada, America, so and so happened? The actual stem was like, goodbye, India. You're just, producing something. अरे यहाँ पे
Science,
जान छोड़ा यार
technology,
भाग जाएंगे.
STEM you're trying to say about.
Yes, the science, yeah.
Technology and
Yes, engineering and
engineering
maths.
and maths.
Exactly. So this is,
We'll talk about that.
we talk about it. So जान छोड़ा यार करके भाग जाएं. Who was in India? Who was, I mean, America line खड़े होते थे जाके.
But
आज
this
भी
idea
जाके
of the
खड़े होते हैं.
political party, Anita ji, why this idea has cropped up and क्या ideology आप लाना चाहते हैं? What is the idea behind this
See,
political
one
party?
thing is there are unattended areas. I know the kind of hard work and the efforts that our government has done. Commendable job. Also maintaining the neighbors, commendable job. I'm not saying anything. Even with the armed forces or anything, that is also commendable job. And the way it's been done and the kind of progress that we watch, fantastic, phenomenal. And even I would have been there. I would say probably I would have not done it better. I mean, I'm so respectful.
I
for
agree
that.
with you.
Seriously, I have no second word and always बड़े भाई मान के जाते हैं ना. So seriously, पिताजी, बड़े भाई, जो भी आप बोलते हैं, that is how we consider with that kind of a respect. It is nothing, in a second thought process. But ये जो नया पीढ़ी वो जो आता है ना अभी नया पीढ़ी जो अभी आ रहा है बाहर से, I think that is where we need training. We need to tune those people. Where is that alignment? See, we need to create that kind of a alternative behavior, alternative steps. I think that alternatives are what is very, very important. We are just not going to be working with the older philosophies. We need to listen to the Gen Zs. We need to listen to so many other people. We need to bring that new blood. So where does this happen?
मतलब What I'm trying to say is, जैसे मान लीजिए एक ट्रांसलेट पॉलिटिकल पार्टी क्रिएट हो गई एंड से यू आर एट द हेल्म ऑफ द अफेयर, what change can we look at in the society after this
Very
party say
true.
comes into being?
See, there are four main pillars that we are really looking at: humanity, peace. Humanity is gone. Anywhere it doesn't exist. Peace, again, it's in peace. Inclusivity, forget it. We are talking about inclusivity. Where is inclusivity? कोई कंपनी वाला आके बात कर रहे थे, आप कंपनी में जो भी कुछ करना है, अदर जेंडर्स को लेके आना है, पहले आप वुमेन को लेके आके विमेन को बात कीजिए. बट इन कंट्री लाइक इन यूरोप, a board like Siemens or BMW or anybody else has a board of directors ratio of women between 30 to 50%. That is the way they are going ahead. And they're prospering. They're making huge profits. Whereas a country like us, we are saying one women director, do whatever you want to.
I mean, I think I have seen a little progress over the years. जो आप सही कह रहे हैं, पहले there was a difference.
Yes.
Over the past few years, I have personally seen a difference in how the women are being involved. But if I speak about आपका मैंने वीडियो देखा, आपने कहा कि जहाँ पे LGBTQ++ है, so there are a total of 28 genders, which was eye-opening.
No.
आपका मैंने एक वीडियो देखा था. What was that?
LGBTQ is a common word which we use it as, right? LGBTQA plus community is a common word. In LGBTQA community, it gets into two different split. First of all, we need to understand this. One split is a sexual orientation. मतलब वो gay है,
That I
lesbian
understand.
है.
Yeah.
That is one sexual orientation.
Right.
Bisexual है. So in India, a survey was done. Bisexual ratio was 59%, by the way.
Okay.
Just an eye-opener for you once again. So this is the kind of infrastructure that we have. Sexual orientations are different. Now coming to gender identities. Gender identities are 100 plus. Please ask Google. It will list you down. And to our government, they are jargons. They are Western influenced jargons.
What about the rights of the other genders that we are talking about? अभी हम जैसे transgender का particularly हम law की बात कर रहे हैं.
Correct.
There are a lot of people who identify themselves as these different genders. उनके rights का क्या? मतलब how is that being?
See, there is no one to advocate. On all of these sexual orientation and gender identities have one flag, the rainbow flag.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So this is how they categorize, because your problem is the same, my problem is also same. And I'm not going to talk separately on this particular subject. Now coming on to this, the rainbow flags, that's where we are going forward. And in the gender identities, there are many different identities. Now when my government doesn't recognize me, my government doesn't know to use anything better than the transgender word. So transgender word is an umbrella term, and transgender means 100 genders to me. So in this, you could be whatever you want, but I will ensure you only as transgender. And agony is, along with these genders, the religious groups are also in the same. Even more bigger agony. I will go to one other state. I don't want to name that particular person because they are also from the same ruling party community. They said, you are in other backward classes. अरे जेंडर कहाँ से बैकवर्ड क्लास हो गया? जेंडर किधर से बैकवर्ड क्लास होने लगा अभी?
कि आपको ओबीसी के अंडर दे वर अबाउट टू पुट यू अंडर दैट, तभी आई थिंक ये जो आया था पहले इसी के कारण आया था. करेक्ट.
Exactly. So that is where I'm wondering, you guys don't even know what is a gender, what is a caste. दिमाग खराब कर देते हो.
So okay, this is really interesting to know from you कि किस तरीके से आप इस कम्युनिटी को एडवोकेट तो करते ही हैं, बट अब उनके राइट्स के लिए यू आर ट्राइंग टू फाइट एट अ वेरी डिफरेंट लेवल. दैट इज
True.
बिकॉज कहते हैं ना कि चेंज स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम टॉप डाउन. कई बार हम कहते हैं कि घर से चेंज होना चाहिए, बट कई बार ऊपर से चेंज होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. एंड आई विश आपका जो पॉलिटिकल ड्रीम है, आई होप इट कम्स ट्रू. बट आई वॉन्ट टू मूव टू योर टेक्निकल साइड. आई मीन आप टेक्निकली काफ़ी क्वालिफाइड हैं, आपके नाम पे बहुत पेटेंट्स हैं, और आपने ना ही सिर्फ एक एज अ पायलट आप ट्रेन हुए हैं, बट आपने एयरलाइंस का कोई एक बहुत स्पेसिफिक आपने एक इनोवेशंस में पार्टिसिपेट किया है जो आप इंडिया तक भी लेकर आए हैं. एंड करंटली आप डिफेंस के साथ भी यू आर पार्टनरिंग, एंड आप कुछ ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजीज़ लेकर आ रहे हैं जितना आप बता सकते हैं. आई डोंट वांट यू टू ड्वेल अपॉन द सीक्रेसी ऑफ इट, But I want the people to know, because we have to start looking beyond this now, because now I want them to know what you are actually doing. Please tell us more
See,
about that.
one is the patriotism that never goes. You
Yes.
burn me, that is the only way you can
Indian is an
eliminate.
Indian, girl or
Indian
a
is an
boy or
Indian, I
any
don't
other.
care.
Yes.
And we are committed so much that we want to see India prospering every second. And जो भी गलत करते हैं क्या बोल सकते हैं, थोड़ा गालियाँ भी दे देंगे बस हो गया, पकौड़ा खा
But
लेंगे,
आप
हो
उन
गया.
सब चीजों से ऊपर उठ के you are still doing your
Exactly.
bit.
So अभी क्या होता है, now the innovations are coming. The first thing is aero engines are pending. Aero engine has been a dream in India. Kaveri करके हम लोगों ने चालू किया था, I think way back, and it was, I don't know what happened.
क्या था
and,
वो? What was that?
Kaveri was an aero engine.
Okay.
And it was done in the national laboratories, and then it was not a success story. They said, we want to start this, we want to do this. There were several tenders being called. I think they spent a lot of money, considerable money on it, but still the engine was a failure. We could not develop anything. And still we are dependent on aero engines outside of India.
Okay.
और हमारा जो युद्ध का विमान जो है, जो भी हैं, we are suffering. And today's direction, they are asking people. Modi ji was standing and calling everybody, guys, come over, your STEM, this science, technology, engineering and maths. Please come stand up and try to do something for the nation. Come over, bring us the innovation. Kone puch ke aaye. But who was there to stand? Who was there to give the kind of results? Nobody. That is where the problem happened.
Are you talking of Make in India?
See, Make in India was one. Make in India has not been a big time, let's say, a success story the way it was anticipated to be.
But
right?
I think it's picking up, Dr. Anita. I think.
No, it is now picking
Yeah.
up. It is now picking up because you have the democratization and so on and so forth. The new jargons that entered this, and that before that, it was not a big time success story. People were hesitant, Make in India and this and that. What happens there? Ease of doing business, but it is still very difficult. There are so many things.
Any new idea faces this kind of एक obstacle face होता है मेरे ख्याल से, and
बहुत obstacles है,
हाँ.
एक नहीं दो नहीं, बहुत
Yes.
obstacles है, but keeping all these things, someone will have to do an achievement to bring across. Now we have another team which I met. All these are vehicle enthusiasts, mechanical engineers. All of them started now. We have an aero engine. The first one, we have an aero engine now. We made it for the glider. We have made a 200cc version, but now we want to go much more further. So this is an
how are you
achievement.
partnering with the defense? क्या आप ऐसा क्या innovation लेके आ रहे हैं other than this?
ये drones हैं, बहुत सारे drones हैं,
Okay.
and that works on the air, it works on the marine, and it works on underground applications.
Because Operation
and so on and
Sindoor
so
was the
forth.
best example of how drone
Correct.
actually was
Correct.
used.
And my partner also comes from defense, by
I
the
see,
way.
lovely.
So we have been very closely working and connecting, and we keep discussing. And apart from that, most irritating subject. See, today the kind of softwares that we use across India, it's a disaster. We are completely driven by the foreign economy. We are completely driven by the foreign economy. No matter what, I think even the PMO is changing the software applications inside PMO, thinking that it's made in India, but it is absolutely, these are all the softwares, including the database, is coming from abroad. See, Bharat brand is another kill, which is working today in a very dangerous condition. Brand Bharat, apno ke liye karo, ye karo, wo karo. I think still people are not aware of what this is.
What about it that you can talk?
See, I'll tell you, assuming that your database itself is from outside, are you secure? That's my question.
Security, मतलब आप कह रहे हैं कि it's on threat, in threat.
Even your software language itself is from some elsewhere. So have you seen the line of coding that has gone through this? Have you verified everything in depth?
आपके हिसाब से all these things have not been verified?
No, I mean, see, many people are there. There are many experts who might have already gone through many checklists, but they think that, okay, this is very close to what Bharat brand is, not 100% Bharat brand. You understand what I'm saying?
But this conversion into complete Bharat brand will it takes time.
It takes time. So? We are there somewhere, but now we need to focus upon building our own operating system. We don't have an operating system, our own database system. Can we not, see, we are releasing so many tenders. Can we not do it for our own governance, which is the most important, the most secure, every Indian's data, Aadhaar card is on some other server, which is very, very bad. We are prone for so many problems. First of all, we need security. We need that kind of an infrastructure where we are entering our own cloud. Okay, Tata cloud, this cloud, that cloud. But again, you are connected to so and so. I'm not convinced. Tell us more.
So, अगर फ्यूचर इंडिया का एक ट्रेनिंग मॉडल अगर आपको डिजाइन करने को मिले, so what would you like to bring about in that? ऐसा आप क्या लाना चाहेंगे innovative?
Start changing in the software applications firstly, and work on your own infrastructure, and then the kind of connectivity, and then also like you need to know every Indian. You need to connect to every Indian. You're not connecting. आज मन की बात हो रहा है, उनका भी मन का बात सुनो ना. उनका भी एक मन है.
No, that's
so
very
are you listening to them? Are you in a position to do that kind of waterfall model mein baithe hue ho? So you bring that as an iterative model. So this is what my party and initiatives are going to be bringing in much more stronger.
That's precisely what I want to talk. कि आप क्या innovations ऐसे अपने हिसाब से लाना चाह रहे हैं या आप already work कर रहे हैं that you would want to bring out to the public?
See, I spoke to some people. I said, see, I've already trained 600 women now. And I have another 30,000 plus another 90,000 more, right? About 1,20,000, 1,30,000, whatever that numbers are coming in across Karnataka region, for example. I'm not going to talk about the northern part of India. MSMEs. We are registering their MSMEs. Today we have registered 600 MSMEs, and we are moving in towards building those another 1 lakh plus women on these MSME spaces. We are training them to come with a handmade product. You imagine everyone are shouting AI across the world. I am talking about handmade. Don't you see the difference?
That's a stark difference.
I'm also shouting robots. I'm also shouting AI. But I'm also shouting on the other side handmade. And that is where the human enablement is very important. When the human enablement takes to the next phase, giving them the opportunities, giving them the job. I spoke to some people. See, as a prime minister, as somebody else, as a very powerful person, you go and speak to some more people abroad to buy my product, a quality product. I can sell it. I can ask the bunch of investors to buy this. And that's what I've been doing. You buy it, you go sell it in GCC nation, or you sell it in America. You sell whatever it is. Why people are not eating desi? This is where I said my movie question from Modi ji started to work and drill down to this level. You understand that? So this is where this kind of connectivity is very important. Why people are not talking about India? Why people are not connecting to the India on a daily basis? Why is our product not there in somebody else's home?
But I think Make in India has picked up, Anita ji, जो I don't know, I may be wrong, but जो मेरा एक observation रहा है वो यही है कि Make in India,
women, you
चाहे
tell me,
defense में हो चाहे outside, a lot of things have happened, over the years.
कितने women अभी taxpayer से declare कर रहे हैं?
हाँ, that is a point of discussion.
My question mark.
Absolutely.
Right? कितने women हैं? आप inclusivity बात करते हो यहाँ पे. पहले inclusivity women से हो जाए. चलो अदर केंद्र को छोड़ दिया अभी टाइम पास आप लेकर रहे हो कुछ कर रहे हो यू डू इट बट फॉर मी आई विल ऑल्सो टेक अदर जेंडर्स एंड ऑल्सो women. Now tell me, I am trying to go ahead and try to bring this kind of a development. I am talking in lakhs, not in thousands. I am talking in lakhs and lakhs of bringing in the MSME businesses into the system. I am trying to enable all of them. I'm trying to give them that kind of business also. I'm not talking about just giving you an enablement. I'm talking about giving you a business, telling them how you need to do this particular product. This is my quality. Because that is what I worked for 600 women. We trained, we bought in certain products. We made a brand called Srijan. We sold it. And we stopped it also. Because that was a trial basis. Now I will sit and try to develop much more further. And this has to be a big initiative that has to happen. Why are you not investing on
here
it?
I want to just take a little from you on this कि जो इंडिया की जो हम ग्रोथ पोटेंशियल की बात करते हैं इट्स हाई.
Huge.
यू थिंक अगर ग्रोथ पोटेंशियल हाई है तो क्या एग्जीक्यूशन में प्रॉब्लम आ रही
आप
है या
विमेन को
लीडरशिप
एनेबल
में?
करो ना पहले.
नहीं नहीं, प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है? लीडरशिप में है, एग्जीक्यूशन में है या पॉलिसी में है? आपके हिसाब से फ्रॉम योर जहाँ से आप देखते हैं वेयर डू यू सी द प्रॉब्लम लाइन?
It is from the grassroots level. People don't want to work at the grassroots level. They depend on somebody else. So when you are giving the direction to somebody else, this is tend to fail.
तो इंश्योरिंग कि आगे हो
No
रहा है कि
matter
नहीं हो रहा
what
है.
amount of funds you have kept away, no matter what amount of growth that you are anticipating, it will not happen unless you work on the grassroots level. This is where you need people like us who are sitting and trying to change on a day in and day out basis. This is very important for us. A cleaning, near real Swachh Bharat is important. Who is actually sweeping that ground is very important. That is where the actual Swachh Bharat will start. The dirt will have to come up. Then you need that kind of a tune where you are polishing that, where you are trying to prepare that as a diamond, and you are trying to bring that for the nation. Once you start polishing one person, you have many others who are getting polished, and that is what is going to become your revenue earning model, where you are going to talk about just enabling women itself. We are talking about few $1 trillion of economy.
And where do you see the
It
Gen
is the
Z?
economics is a real important subject that one has to have that perception.
No, I
When
get
you
that.
don't have the economics in place, when you are just like that coming with policies and implementing it, leaving the ground level, you are not going to do anything.
No, I mean what I'm trying to say is कि जो आप जेन जी या जेन अल्फा जो अब आने वाली जनरेशन है, आप एक अभी इस पर्टिकुलर जनरेशन की बात कर रहे हैं जिसमें अभी हम पॉलिसीज इम्प्लीमेंट होते हुए देख रहे हैं. Where do you see the Gen Z and Gen Alpha का contribution, as
See,
per your understanding
very
of
true.
technology?
वो हम लोग बात करते हैं, वो बात नहीं करते हैं. This is the biggest
My
issue.
point, because वो digitally बहुत inclined है, they talk less, they do
Yes.
more, you know.
Yes.
तो आपके हिसाब से जो आप innovations लेके आना चाहते हैं और जो लेके आए हैं, उसमें आप इनका बच्चों का involvement कैसे देखते हैं? How do you see this happen?
See, that is where we need a connectivity, and that's where I'm working on that, because you need to talk the language of each and every person need to talk. उनका मन का बात कैसे सुनेंगे आप?
What are you doing for that?
We have bots. We again have the connectivities. We again have the bots. So that's where it is getting developed. भारत के लिए कोई 2 करोड़ 5 करोड़ खर्चा करो पर्सनल का, वो भी कलेक्ट करके, चंदा कलेक्ट करके डेवलप करो. दैट इज व्हाट आई एम डूइंग. दैट
और
इज
आप
वेयर आई
एक
एम
समाख्या भारत अभियान भी चला रहे हैं.
Exactly.
उसके बारे में प्लीज बताइए.
समाख्या भारत is enablement of everybody. That is where we are
what is
spreading
the idea behind this Samaikya
Samaikya
Bharat
Bharat
Abhiyan?
is nothing but what I'm thinking is majority is communicating the humanity, inclusivity, and peace. That is the pillar that where this party also
आपकी
came out with.
ideology
Very
है.
important. And then the growth again. When we are talking about growth is in Samaikya Bharat also, which is my 5-6 years of dream since when I started, when I was locked myself in a room, and that is where it actually started, and that is where it actually started to grow up further, where I have now decided that okay, I am now going to talk about this whole thing and bring it into the life where the ground level people need to be uplifted. Unless until they know the facts and information and figures, make their eye open. Today, their eyes are not open. They're not connected. They're not getting the right information. Language barriers, huge discrimination, and their opportunities. And you are not enabling them.
See, I think इसके बारे में अनीता जी I would like to pitch in a little कि सबको पता है ये सब कि ये नहीं हो रहा है, लेकिन क्यों नहीं हो रहा है उस पे कोई फोकस नहीं कर रहा है.
That is what I'm saying. This is where exactly we are falling down. This is where exactly we figured out. Moment I came from Germany, 4-5 जूते निकल गए
आप ला पाए हैं?
See, that's where I said I trialed out for 600 women and trans women also.
Okay.
We worked out. We saw there is a success story. Then why are we not able to implement it on a whole India basis? Why are you not able to work it out? ठीक है, आप हमें नहीं सुनेंगे, बॉलीवुड को तो सुनेंगे ना, या कोई इन्फ्लुएंसर को तो सुनेंगे ना. So we will engage with all those people. India has to be collectively developed. It is not Anita alone. And that is where we are trying to say that why don't we all work together to develop this whole thing? It is not Anita coming out with a political party, Anita's interest to become some minister. No. I am only handing it over to somebody. We are going to be only in the governing council if necessary, but we are not interested in getting into politics. That is not my blood. My blood is how do I change the technology? How do I connect to people? How do I impact socially? That is my key strength. And I'm really not interested in connecting on and sitting on a throne or doing anything. Maybe I enable the present government also. I don't know. But I'm working on that. There is a big time mission. There is a big time effort that is happening. And that is where I would love to be focused my own self into that particular angle to uplift this India. And if at all I do the kind of justification of being born in this nation, whoever pays me money or not, I don't care. Today, I am not with any wealth. I was having very big wealth. I have done everything. I have enjoyed my lovely life. The real king's life.
आपने डेडिकेट कर दिया अपने आप को
हाँ, हम लोगों ने जो ड्रीम किया था उसको अचीव किया और उसको कंप्लीशन भी किया. अभी जो है दिस इज अनदर फेस विच आई वुड लाइक टू सी टू इट दैट ठीक है कोई ट्रांसवुमन आया हुआ है, शी वांट्स टू ट्रेन सम पीपल. आप ऐसा बात करेंगे तो बात करते रहो, बट अब साथ मिलके कोई इंसान आया हुआ है, सब लोग मिलके इंसानियत के नाते हम लोग कुछ डेवलप करेंगे, सब लोग. That is a different subject altogether. And I'm not interested in listening to those kind of taunts. I'm only focused, whatever that comes, I'm only very, very focused in terms of building certain things. And that's where I'm committed. And all my work is going towards that. And for example, we are the first one to do a genetic study on the planet. The largest genetic study is happening in India and in Mysuru. Did anybody pay for this?
कुछ और बताइए इसके बारे में.
हाँ, ये 100 genders है ना, 100 gender identities. That's where I connected with the Mysore University. We went to genetic department. It's all genetics. What have you got to do with organ study? There's nothing to verify. You have to verify the blood and the sample and whole genome sequencing. There are active genes, passive genes, non-performing genes.
क्या impact आप ला पाए हैं for the community?
See, why does it happen? पहले हम लोग understand तो करें ना.
अच्छा, अभी आप स्टडी मोड पे हैं.
Yes.
We are trying to understand why.
Exactly. See, again, the science is going so fast. We are working on so many other topics. Why does it happen? पहले हम लोग स्टडी नहीं किया तो क्या उसको समाधान निकालेंगे? समझ रहे हो ना, मेन प्रॉब्लम. सो कुछ लोग बदल गए, इंक्लूडिंग मी. Whatever the factors are, but why it happened? Do we know this? Can other people
grassroots level?
Exactly. Leave the religions. I'm not interested. But the real people, why the human beings are changing even in a drastic level. That is the reason why you also came with 2026 amendment laws. So, can you work towards this to address subjects in a scientific manner? Nobody is interested. Nobody is listening.
Yeah, I'm glad. देखिए कहते हैं ना कि कहीं ना कहीं से शुरुआत होनी बहुत ज़रूरी होती है. कई बार शुरुआत थोड़ी देर से होती है, कभी कभी जल्दी समझ में आ जाता है. एटलीस्ट आप उस शुरुआत का हिस्सा हैं. एंड आई एम रियली होपिंग कि ये वाला जो एस्पेक्ट है, आप इसकी इन डेप्थ स्टडी करके इसके बारे में कुछ रिसर्च पेपर्स आप अपने, बिकॉज आप PhD भी आप कर चुके हैं इन लॉट ऑफ, आई मीन यू हैव सो मच टू योर किटी. So you, I think, will be bringing it out, and I think for our general public, for people like us who are totally naive and जिनको पता ही नहीं है इन चीज़ों के बारे में,
Exactly.
we need to know, and I think आप जैसे लोग हैं जो इन चीज़ों को लेकर आएंगे for people like us to know, you know.
And
so that is the
मैं
beauty.
एक बात आप इन सबको बोलना चाहती हूँ कि transgenders are not the same. Don't put them in the same basket.
Absolutely.
Don't
we have
put
to
them in the
move
same
beyond
baskets.
identity, and I totally agree with you
And
there.
People like us, we are struggling and working to bring a betterment in the whole, not only for me, for the society and for the entire country. This is what we are moving ahead. You know, can you not see this? Now, second topic is, when we are doing all these things, for example, you know, when Ajit Dovalji is struggling so hard, like him, there are several others. Salute to all of those people, seriously.
The Dhurandhars of our country.
Lot of people. See, I don't want to
Yes.
name it. And those people who are not even known to the public,
Generally
not
वो लोग
even
आगे
known
आते
to
भी नहीं हैं,
anywhere,
सही बात है.
who have been Indian in one way or the other way, and then also making us proud, sleep very well. A big salute to all of them. And when we are doing this, see, I'll tell you, today we are doing so many things. We are able to maintain well. We are able to continue very well. But tomorrow, my question mark is, what about the future? Gen Z, Gen Alpha तो सो रहा है. कैसे जगाएंगे आप? Are we tuning and training them, working with them? Because they're not vocal. They're only, sitting and communicating so fast in a different angle altogether. Even, my daughter used to come and then ask me some question. I always remember that subject. She used to come and then ask me some question instantly. In less than 30 seconds, she used to grab what I was trying to say.
They are very sharp.
I know.
This generation is very sharp.
This is the answer. Okay, I know. I'll cover it up. And then she used to cover it up so very well. A better presentation than what I used to do. And I feel I'm an idiot. So this is the kind of an infrastructure that we are talking. This is the kind of the younger generation that we are talking. If so, then what is it that, how are we using this? How are we working it out? I think this
Education
is where,
level pe hi mere khayal se you need to start working on, because if you have to grab the generation's potential, it starts from the school level.
I'm actually discussing another possibility here where I want to bring something called as BAG, bag.
BAG, can you please?
BAG, like a bag.
Please define it.
Bag means Bharat Action Grid.
Bharat Action Grade.
Yeah.
What is that?
So Bharat Action Grid is nothing but you are connecting to all these people in a one way or the other way. Whichever form they are connecting, they need to connect, they need to start working towards it and be vocal. They need to at least speak about what is exactly happening in order for us as a country to start performing better. I'm talking about a true democracy here.
So you're saying connecting with the younger generation.
Correct.
Through whichever way possible, virtually,
Yes.
physically, you go speak to them or
whatever. Or even in the schools,
tapping
colleges,
the-
universities.
okay.
I think there's something that we need to work out together, where the present government also should work on this very, very importantly. That the present infrastructure should be made more advanced. We need to connect to those people, Gen Alphas. Even now the Gen Betas are out.
Oh yeah, already
right?
there.
So all these are silent generations. They are not going to be talking like what we are trying to do. And
Absolutely.
this is not something that what we want to express. And they are silent exit creators. They are silent entrants. So we need to know how to manage those people very well.
Where do you look at possibilities?
Yeah.
आप
So
क्या-
I
आप
would
क्या
like to
possibilities
work
देख रहे हैं?
on this BAG, where the Bharat Action Grid has to come into the force, where we try to bring this patriotism. You cannot create the future, and you don't have a grip of the future. See, today we may be secure, we may sleep very well. We know, okay, Sudarshan Chakra is acting somewhere, but are we sure tomorrow's generation we are leaving India in one piece?
We won't be there.
This
to
is
see
my
it.
question mark. So if so, then what is it that we in power or we people who are living today are taking care of such things? You are not just talking for
true.
the economy. ठीक है, just protecting the border, for example, आपका फौजी का term पे. So you are protecting the border. I did my job. Today I am retired. What about the nation that you served and worked for requires your help and support, probably to hold them even to the future? Are you sure that you have left India safe? This is my question mark.
Point taken. It's a very valid point, because इस पे कितने लोग सोचते हैं?
इसके ऊपर हम सो नहीं पाते. जब ये सोच आता है, are we in a position? Because I can see, I have lived in different economies. I have been in the millionaire and billionaire clubs. I know what their brain is. Modi ji or any political guy cannot get it. I'm telling you this. This is a very different brain that works, and that works in a different direction altogether. That can only be seen. For example, the artificial intelligence revolution that is being coming up, that you are noticing, even from the east or west or anywhere else, that is the monopoly era which is entering. But we are trying to request, organizing the Bharat Manch, please make it more democratic, and calling all other nations who are voting like us, because we are not the innovators. And we are only trying to take that. We are trying to download the GPT, let's say the engines, and based on those engines we are creating our applications.
हम्म
GPT इंजन कौन बनाएगा? कोई है बनाने वाला? हाँ, अभी LLM है, वो कर रहा है, ये कर रहा है. This is our serious problem in the nation. So our STEM bag need to work on this very importantly. Their energies need to be channelized. The financial administration investments has to be channelized, where these investors coming in, playing around. The investors are getting much more, drifting towards so many other subjects, which I've been watching that trend. I've been a part of startup events. I've been a part of so many other initiatives. Skill development. It is a huge problem. People are not able to connect.
How about inclusion at the corporate sector level? I mean, I just want to talk a little about that as well.
Inclusion at corporate level is
आपको
they
क्या
are
लगता
trying to
है
work.
कि,
See, the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belongingness that they have.
Is
They
it
are trying to
seriously
work
being
out.
taken up, or a lot is being
See, I'll
still,
tell you,
you know?
wherever I have seen, not too many are in that area. There are people, they are happy if they get 1 or 2 or 10,
अच्छा,
right?
a certain
So,
percentage जो maintain करनी होती है, they don't do that.
so, and there is also a race who has the better policies, practices, and they win that race. And they celebrate that particular area. So they will not go for beyond area. I mean, see, वो जो होता है HR personality development के लिए होता है, personal development के लिए होता है.
वो सिर्फ दिखाने के लिए होता है
I'm
कि we are
very honest and straightforward. This is what it is. But if you look at it on the ground, on the bottom level, how many, when you are talking about inclusive, I am talking about those with disabilities also. So are you really inclusive? Where is the ramp? Where is the, your blind walking path?
Because
Right?
if we see beyond identity, Anita ji, I think we spoke of innovations, we spoke of technology, and we spoke about the new India, how you're going to, what is your vision of new India? So अगर हम beyond identity देख के सिर्फ एक individual को include करें, in such important places, there is so much more our country
See,
is
companies are
worth.
also doing that mistake. Governance is doing mistake. Everybody are doing mistake, and therefore, see,
Mistake कहेंगे या
हम लोगों
oversight
का
कहेंगे?
जो लोग है ना, कौन खोल उठता है? क्या करें हम लोग? यार इतना गंदा सिस्टम में है हम लोग.
नहीं, oversight है या mistake है?
ओवरसेटिंग है, और ओवरसेटिंग के बाद मिस्टेक भी हो जाता है.
What kind of treatment आपने observe किया over a period of time, like from the people who are, say, having a lot of capital, and maybe you even sit with them. आपका कोई experience आप share करना
See,
चाहेंगे?
here I have met with few billionaires and millionaires also. They invited me personally. They looked at my TV interviews, TEDx talk, and then they said, "Can you bring Anita?" ठीक है, अनीता आज commodity थी. I used to command somebody someday sitting like what you are doing. आज तो एक इंसान है अनीता विल गो एनीवेयर. सो ठीक है, चलो खाने पे बुलाया, बड़े बाप का घर, चलो चलते हैं, देखते हैं उसका क्या. सो आई वेंट देयर, सेड ज्वेलरी देखे, यही पहन के टॉमी हिलफिगर, ये भी एक्सपेंसिव है बाय द वे. सो दे सेड, आप ऐसा भी ज्वेलरी पहनते हो? हमारा पास बहुत सारे पड़ा हुआ है, आई कैन गिव यू दैट. दैट्स द मेंटालिटी.
That was told to you by that rich person.
I'm going to give the answer back to them someday. I have registered.
Why
all
this
of
mentality? क्यों? Why this came? You had gone for lunch, and what
No,
was they trying
जो
to
भी
show you
है,
down, or what was it?
Very simple. You need to understand the face fact, point blank. That is the area where you want to be pulling people. और हमारे जो मंत्री जी हैं उस दिन पार्लियामेंट में बात कर रहे थे, वो भी इसी कारण के ऊपर आई गॉट रियली वाइल्ड. Not to me, of course, obviously, but he was addressing the other transgenders. अरे साहब, हम लोग तो गरीब लोग हैं, बाहर बैठे रहते हैं, आप लोग बुलाते हैं, खाना खिलाते हो, दुआ ले लेते हो हमसे, एंड यू गिव अस सम गिफ्ट, हम भाग्यशाली हैं. उन्होंने बोला इनको, मंत्री जी बोले कैबिनेट में, जब ये ट्रांसजेंडर बिल का 2026 का पास करते हुए. So if this is the quality of people, when the humanity is missing, and that is where we are really concerned. Are we in this inclusive India? ये लोग पहले सनातनी थे, है या रहेंगे? You understand the point? सनातन धर्म किधर है? मार्केटिंग करते हो, श्री राम जी का बात करके मार्केटिंग करते हो आप लोग.
वेल
This is my
दैट्स अ
question
वेरी
mark.
बहुत बड़ा एक डिस्कशन है ये टॉपिक. बहुत इट कैन बी टेकन इन एनी प्रपोर्शन बाय एनीबडी. बट आपका जो फीलिंग बिहाइंड दिस है, मैं आई एम ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. आई मीन दैट एंगर, दैट एंग्विश एंड जो फ्रस्ट्रेशन आप जिस चीज़ से आप गुजरे
No,
हैं
see,
ओवर अ
actually,
पीरियड ऑफ
like me,
टाइम.
I'm just trying to show this on the
Yes, it
table
is. I think
because
it's important.
it's
And we
important
are in a
because I'm
democracy.
not frustrated. If I'm
आपके लिए
frustrated,
डेमोक्रेसी का क्या मतलब है?
see, democracy, if you give in full extent, it becomes a socialistic nature economy. You will never have that kind of a hierarchical economy which you are driving right now.
But from the perspective of a transgender person who is trying to save the rights of the transgender community and being very vocal about it, and अपनी तरफ से आप पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं, डेमोक्रेसी आपको कहाँ तक वो इजाज़त दे रही है कि आप उन चीज़ों को आगे ला पाएं?
See, I'll tell you, transgender and LGBT community together, I'm talking probably an Indian population of roughly between about 8 to 15%, roughly.
Okay.
Right? That's the range. In this 1.4 billion population, 8 to 10% is the ratio that I'm talking. Still a minority. I'm leaving the majority up. So majority is worried about casteism, reservation system, and we are not worried about the development of the economy. This is our India. So how do you make this a progressive nation? This is my challenge. I am not taking any rich person's topics or anybody else's topic personally, and I will never take it. But these are there. These are the mentalities that I'm trying to expose. This is the kind of mentality is only creating this kind of a divide and rule mechanism. Your hierarchy mechanism is coming. You are connected again with other people. You are bound with that kind of a mechanism because you don't have any other choice. Because the superpowers are demanding this kind of a hierarchy today.
मतलब आप कह रहे हैं कि जो इंटरनली जो चैलेंजेस इंडिया में चल रहे हैं, हम इस वक्त एक्सटर्नल चैलेंजेस फेस कर रहे हैं.
I'm
इट्स
not
बिगर
talking
प्रॉब्लम
about-
इंटरनली.
Exactly. हम लोग बाहर देखने का जरूरत ही नहीं है. सीधे बाहर देखना है. That is very important. But internally, what is happening here?
इट्स अ वेरी बिग क्वेश्चन जो आप आज रेज कर रहे हैं अनीता जी. एंड आई रियली विश दैट जो आज हमारी डिस्कशन रही है, विच हैज़ बीन नॉट जस्ट अराउंड द ट्रांसजेंडर कम्युनिटी पर्टिकुलरली, बट ऑल्सो way beyond, you know.
Exactly.
जो
See,
आपने
I'm
आज
not
discuss
talking
किया है.
about, I'm only talking about humanity.
Yes,
I'm
humanity.
not talking
Yes.
about transgenders or this gender,
Yes.
that gender, आप नीच हो, ये हो, ये वो हो. I'm talking about, I'm from Sanatana Dharma. I came from a very strong religious background and family. I'm born in the southern India with a family of priests. And my distant relative is Dr. Jayalalitha.
I see.
Yeah, so this is the kind of background that I come with. And why should I even speak about all these subjects which I'm not even interested? If I can play around with divide and rule and all these things, ठीक है, हम लोग भी आपके पीछे बकेट पकड़ के लेके आ जाएंगे. Or do we do anything beyond? Because that is where your Gen Z has gone silent. Gen Alpha has gone silent. They don't want to speak. Have you seen that kind of children who are actually suffering? And we as India suffering for the future, because tomorrow those people who worked on those technologies are going to be ruling us. Who have bought the piece of land will decide, right, what you should eat going to a restaurant chain which is massively owned.
I agree. I really wish कि all this heart talk reaches to the right
Right, and
place.
they also decide who has to live on this planet, who should not live on the planet.
Yeah.
Who should
boils
get
down
that
to
kind of a gut feeling treatment so your gut can live and get you live for another 100 years or so. This is crazy.
It
The
is
system
crazy.
is going crazy. Are we in a position to control it today? Today you need to act on this, not like, a very childish, humanistic, whatever the attacks that they're trying to do. I'm raising out because they attack that humanity. Today, Anita is active when you touch the humanity. Otherwise, I was a follower, I was a worshipper of you. Always I will be.
I really
So that
wish.
is where I got very angry and came out of the system. Hey, this is not right. This is not the way you need to run this. Somebody has to say something. Na?
See, change, कहते हैं ना, change is the only constant.
Correct.
And unless change happens, we cannot see the new light in our
Correct.
country as a whole,
Correct.
and as a developed nation as a whole, या आप जो भी discussions हमने करी, I think it will meet its end only if we rise above genders, we rise above identities, and also we rise above, things which are holding us back. We need to come out as humans, allow each and every person to give their contribution without judging them. मेरे हिसाब से, जो मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग आफ्टर आपकी बात सुनने के बाद, मेरे को तो यही लग रहा है कि जब तक हम इन चीज़ों से ऊपर नहीं उठेंगे, we will never, progress
See,
as
this
a
is
nation.
one topic, Amrit ji. The other topic is today I have a business idea. Today I'm going ahead. I'm talking to some good people. I'm let's say I'm a fresher. This I've been facing. So if I'm a fresher, I have an investor coming in. The investor is now talking to you. The investor says, I'm going to be investing, and they've taken you away, taken your knowledge, taken your capabilities.
Because of the gender?
No, not the genders. I mean, generally, I'm saying. Generally, this is the kind of impact that this is going to bring on the table. So when this is happening, the biggest of the biggies are doing this. I'm sorry to say that. The biggest of the biggies, I don't want to name those people. There are only large whales roaming around in the market. These large whales are eating a lot of fishes. And there are other people who are having capabilities, are getting succumbed to this kind of nonsense.
I agree.
So these whales are eating away. Where is your policy?
So that's you see, यही ground reality यही है. जब तक policy framework में work नहीं होगा,
Ease of doing.
Things will not change.
Ease of growing.
Yeah, correct.
Ease of growing, or ease of growing and supporting India in a different direction. Is there something that we can come out with? सोचना पड़ेगा. ऐसा नहीं कि ये lived experiences are different. Policy making is so easy. जो 12th grade पास होता है, उसका एक examination हो जाता है, and they are in administration service, unfortunately. And they are the people who are deciding. This is the situation. और graduation हो जाता है, उसके बाद जाके बैठ गया.
And I think
क्या
we'll
exposure
have to
था
have
आपका?
another level of podcast to discuss, further things.
True.
I think
very
this
important.
is,
And
it's
this is
very
where
important
we are
for-
so worried. I'm just pointing out at a very surface level. We are not going in depth, but this is the kind of issue that we are facing. The administrators are not also groomed. They are just there. They are not groomed. They are not tuned to the kind of nature that you want to grow. So you are a sales guy. You have bought a sales order. Imagine you cannot deliver this. You get the point?
Yeah.
This is what is actually happening with us.
Understood. No, definitely, Anita ji. I think we had a wonderful discussion today, and काफ़ी आपने insights दिए हैं about not just the community per se, not just about the law that has come out, but also about what kind of a change you are looking. आप क्या change देखते हैं nation में आते हुए? And I really hope कि आप जो काम कर रही हैं, इतने in depth knowledge के साथ और इतने passion के साथ, you are working towards India becoming the nation that it should be, and which I'm sure we are progressing towards it. I wish you all the best. But before we leave, I have a short rapid fire question for you.
Rapid fire के पहले जाना चाहते हैं. तो I think, see, I'm just one person who is trying to shout. Many people who are struggling.
Absolutely.
I think they all
अकेला
should
इंसान कुछ कर भी
actually-
नहीं सकता, Anita
Yeah,
जी.
they should communicate.
Yes.
Not like, we are sitting in a hierarchical system. They need to communicate. ठीक है, ये problem हो रहा है. तो जब हम लोग communicate नहीं करेंगे तो कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे.
See, communication gap तो एक relationship को खराब कर देता है.
Correct.
एक
Very
husband wife
important.
के बीच में communication gap हो जाए, it can lead to
Very
problems. So
important.
आप तो एक nation level की बात कर रहे हैं.
Correct.
And communication, father to a child, like a head of the family is the head of the state,
True.
head of the country, and to the normal
And
person.
thank you that you brought
Yes.
such a podcast out.
I really hope
Otherwise,
it
this
reaches
will
out.
be on the ground level. I don't know when, and then some other guy would have come and then spoken to me in a different tone. So many things would not even come. So, moment they see transgender as a subject, or a trans woman, or a woman, whatever, a person who was born as a male went into female, or female to male, whatever that's happening, they see only in those transitioning lines. Why do you do this? There is a life beyond. There are so many things happening beyond those
Yes.
lives. And you need to be thinking on those boundaries. And they're humans.
That's my point. जब तक हम इन चीज़ों से उठेंगे नहीं, जब तक हम
Correct.
हर एक को एक फ्रेम में नहीं देखेंगे, I do understand for the sake of, जैसे फॉर्म में होता है, you have to put your gender. They have at least given now a section.
Correct.
Others, where you can you feel good about putting yourself there. At least otherwise belongingness कहाँ गई हमारी? आइडेंटिटी प्रूव करने में जिंदगी निकल जाए तो इंसान के बर्थ लेने का फायदा क्या हुआ?
श्रीनिवास ऐसा नहीं था, अभी अनीता ना, ये अनीता बनने के बाद ज्यादा एनर्जी आ गया है
श्रीनिवास ने, आई थिंक श्रीनिवास हैज डन हिज बिट ऑन दिस अर्थ. आपने बहुत इनोवेशंस लाके इतना कुछ आपने नेशन को दिया है, चाहे वो जर्मनी में रह के किया, चाहे वो आपने इंडिया को इंक्लूड करके आपने वो इनोवेशंस को आगे लेकर आए हैं. वी आर वेरी प्राउड ऑफ यू. आई एम वेरी प्राउड टुडे दैट आई एम सिटिंग विद यू एंड टॉकिंग टू यू अबाउट इश्यूज जो आई थिंक मैटर करते हैं. एंड मुझे लगता है इस तरह की डिस्कशंस और होनी चाहिए वेयर वी शुड rise above the gender.
True.
It's high time now. I think India is moving into a totally different zone.
True.
And this should be the starting point.
See, one thing is you are talking about productivity.
Yes.
Be on that forefront.
Absolutely.
Enable every human to get to that productivity.
Absolutely.
And that is what my political party is aiming. That is all I'm
Wish
talking.
you luck for your political party.
And remaining, I don't know what other people are running with and what hierarchy mechanisms and what problems they are running with. I'm really not going to be concerned about that because that is their, created.
You have to keep doing your bit, Anita ji.
True, that's it. And
Baki,
I will keep continuing.
Yes.
I'm really not, again, I said I'm aligned to the right wing. I'm not in the left wing at all. And I'm definitely a right wing person only. And I will do whatever it takes for the nation to start this.
I really hope.
And I will come with the big patriotism out because that is what I want people to come with, that mentality.
Yeah.
And I think nation requires this kind of entry. Don't you think so? Because this is a disruptor. Because there are many others, and we don't want want our India to go to the wrong hands by any chance. Of course,
when we speak of right to equality, it better means that.
True.
So we need to. So before we end, we have a small, rapid fire with you. Let me just. So I'm going to ask you questions, giving me two different options. Give me one. Courage या comfort?
Courage.
Identity या acceptance?
I would say identity.
India या global?
India.
साइंस या सोसाइटी?
साइंस.
इसमें चेंज कौन लाएगा, साइंस या सोसाइटी?
साइंस विल ब्रिंग द सोसाइटी.
साइंस विल ब्रिंग द चेंज. आपकी जर्नी अगर आप एक वर्ड में डिफाइन करेंगे क्या होगी?
चेंज मेकर.
द चेंज मेकर. और सबसे इरिटेटिंग मिथ जो आज तक आपने इनकाउंटर किया है?
आई वुड लाइक टू पास. आई विल नॉट टेक दिस.
और इंडिया को अभी चेंज करना चाहिए या we are doing good at the pace that we are moving?
We need to urgently change India.
Urgently change India.
We need to urgently change India, and it is an alarm button. It's like a fire is already there. You need to put in your fire extinguishers now, not tomorrow.
Policy makers के लिए एक message.
Have lived realities connected. Don't just look at your books. Don't sit in your operations with tea, coffee. Get out of the office, be with the people and connect and listen to them before you do anything.
और इस youth के लिए एक message?
Youth has to speak out. If they are silent, speak to the people who understand the way they understand. Don't sit quiet. Because when I go to any colleges, any universities, I face this problem. वो ऐसे लगता है ना, herd of deers in a forest, and I am the human being who is going there and standing talking to a deer. A deer कभी बात करता है?
So they are the silent generation, like you mentioned.
That is that's the biggest shocker. And please start talking. Don't keep quiet.
And in the end, I want to ask you, the transgender community की सबसे बड़ी strength क्या है?
See, I'll tell you, their resilience is one of the biggest strength. Resilience. आप अभी identity card का पंगा लेके आओ, underground चले जाएंगे. डीप ओशन में फ्लोट कर रहे थे कुछ लोग. आई टेल यू दिस स्टोरी. डीप ओशन में फ्लोट कर रहे थे, उनका धंधा अच्छा खासा चला रहे थे. अभी ये जो बॉम्ब डाला ना, सब ऊपर आए. So, ये फिश सब नीचे चले जाएगा. अभी लॉ हो गया, सुप्रीम कोर्ट मना कर दिया. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, दिस फिश विल गो टू द बॉटम ऑफ द ओशन वंस अगेन एंड यू विल नेवर बी एबल टू कैच दोस फिशेस unless until you change the things. And again they will come slowly saying that ठीक है हम कुछ करना है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाके खड़े होते हैं. चैट जीपीटी जैसे और एक टूल आएगा, उसको लेके आके कॉपी पेस्ट एंड they will stand there. What more do you have to say for this? I think this is something what you need to really utilize.
Yeah, it's an amazing community, and especially आपसे बात करने के बाद I have deepest of respect, and I really feel कि I really wish, rather I should say, कि जिस इंडिया का ड्रीम हम सबकी आंखों में है, लाइक एज अ फौजी आई हैव, एज अ इंडियन, एज अ ग्लोबल पर्सन दैट यू हैव, एंड एवरीवन हैज सम ड्रीम. आई होप वी ऑल रीच देयर. एंड आज का डिस्कशन हैज़, आई थिंक फॉर मी, हैज़ बीन वेरी स्पेशल. I really want to thank you for
Thank you
sparing
so
आपने
much.
time spare किया to come here and sit with me and अपने दिल की बात करने के लिए. Really really grateful to you, and I really hope कभी आपसे ऐसे फिर मुलाकात हो and we happen to sit and talk
Anytime,
about
most certainly,
some
and
other discussion. Yes,
anything for the nation, I'm always there, and please do call.
it's a great honor.
And,
Thank you
yeah.
so much once again, and to all of you, I will meet you once again एक ऐसी ही पर्सनालिटी के साथ जो कुछ चेंज लाना चाहते हैं, जो करेज के साथ मूव करना चाहते हैं, एंड हु डोंट वांट टू होल्ड देमसेल्फ बिहाइंड. डॉक्टर अनीता प्रसाद की जर्नी हमें एक सिंपल चीज़ समझाती है. आइडेंटिटी लिमिटेशन नहीं होती. आइडेंटिटी एक स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट होता है. जब साइंस, करेज और पर्पस एक साथ मिल जाते हैं तो सिर्फ करियर्स नहीं बनते, मूवमेंट बनते हैं. और शायद यही फ्यूचर इंडिया का ब्लूप्रिंट है. इंक्लूसिव, इनोवेटिव एंड अनस्टॉपेबल. अगर आपको आज का एपिसोड अच्छा लगा, सो प्लीज़ डू लाइक एंड प्लीज़ डू शेयर इट फर्दर. आई वुड लाइक यू ऑल टू गिव अस सम कमेंट्स एज अ मोटिवेशन. हमें बताइए आपको क्या अच्छा लगा और क्या हम इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं. आई विल सी यू वंस अगेन. जय हिंद, जय भारत.
नमस्कार.